Hello there. Just as Jean-Claude Juncker issues the ultimatum that the UK needs to do more before trade talks can commence, it seems that German industry has other ideas. Jean-Claude Juncker, the EU Commission President, may be declaring that the clock is ticking and that the UK needs to do more, by which he means hand over oodles more cash, before we can start talking about trade, but the people who make the money in the first place are extremely keen to do something, anything, before the UK cash cow breaks free of its shackles. It is understood that a group of German business leaders is due to unveil a New Deal for Britain on Monday that will effectively lambaste Eurocrats for their inflexibility and also attack Michel Barnier for endangering the chances of a trade deal between the EU and the UK. The move comes as businesses in Germany and across the continent are understood to be panicking about the prospect of the EU failing to get a trade deal with Britain amid growing anger over Michel Barnier's drawn-out negotiation tactics, says the Express. It seems some of these businesses foresee a problem when the UK consumer finds out they can get comparable goods elsewhere in the world at a lower price. The meeting will be chaired by German MEP Hans-Olaf, who has previously called Michel Barnier's approach to the Brexit negotiations as illogical and charged him with having enormous arrogance. This is not addressed to London, said Herr Henkel, but primarily the German government, the European parties, Herr Juncker and Mr Tusk. But before anyone cheers, this new deal will involve the UK staying in the EU, but having more control over immigration and borders. This is unlikely to be welcomed by the EU as a whole, which sticks ideologically to the four freedoms of movement of goods, capital, services and people. But in the unlikely event it was taken up, the Remainers would welcome it as a chance to reverse Brexit by giving them the ammunition to argue for a second EU referendum. So, although it looks like someone is on our side, the truth is that this is being done for the benefit of German industry, not the UK. As the pro-Brexit MEP Stephen Wolfe said, this is basically the Nick Clegg plan to force a second referendum and keep us in. This is a last-ditch attempt by German business to keep Britain in the EU because they now realise that once Brexit has taken place, Germany will have to pay more into the European budget. It must be resisted, though. And would it surprise you to hear that I agree with him? But it does show that this whole claim that the EU is talking as one is not quite right. Now, as the longer-term watchers of my videos will know, I have talked in the past about the stresses and strains uncontrolled immigration from the EU has placed on the UK infrastructure and housing supply. And as Richard Littlejohn says in the Daily Mail, we don't have a housing crisis, we have a population crisis. Commenting on Theresa May's recent pronouncement that she will be taking personal charge of the housing crisis, he points out that the vote to leave the EU has had no real effect on the UK economic success and that workers from the EU are still opting to come to our country. There is also no sign of a so-called Brexodus, of EU workers leaving a desolate economic wasteland behind them, as the Remainers keep claiming. In fact, he says, at the end of June, there were 3,181 more EU nationals working in the health service than in 2016. Yesterday, official government figures from the Office for National Statistics showed there were 2.38 million EU nationals working in Britain, an increase of 112,000 on a year ago. So the Remainers can, as far as I'm concerned, put a sock in it when trying to portray the post-Brexit UK as a racist country that no one wants to come to. In fact, once we leave the EU, our success will become even more of a magnet, and we need to be ready to take the brightest and best we can. And having the houses and infrastructure to support them properly in a 21st century UK is the right thing to do. So let's not be distracted by what people with their own vested interests want. Let's pull together in the UK to make a success of our new-found freedom. What do you think? Please leave a comment below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.